Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Hello.
Hi, everyone.
I hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you go to the polls and vote for what you ranked this month's book, Heart of Darkness. It looks like we've got some people who have started voting. This seemed to be an overall, I don't see any ones, twos, or threes. I see mostly fours and fives, which is really good.
Wow. Who's here? Where are you guys? And did you guys do Ash Wednesday? We totally forgot. I saw Lisa's comment. I knew it was Ash Wednesday, but because it changes everywhere, I'm very bad about following that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't even know it was Ash Wednesday until I got her message on Instagram, and she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna try and make it in, but I'm singing in church." I was like, "Sing your heart out. It's gonna be great."
Yeah, it's that thing where you come into work and you're like, "Oh, everybody has the Ash." You're like, "It's Ash Wednesday."
Yeah, that's how I would know whenever students would come in, and then they'd have it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was telling Ben we should just go to dinner at Outback Steakhouse tonight. No one will be there.
Yeah, seriously, everyone they're giving up their luxurious, like the things that they're gluttonous, not the stuff, or something along
you
those
can't
lines.
you can't eat meat or chicken or any of that, anything but fish on Ash Wednesday, and then every Friday of Lent.
Oh, okay. I learned something new.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I went to a Catholic college, though. That's why. It's like, why can't I get any meat? And they're like, it's Friday, because at the college, in the dorms for the cafeteria, they
followed it.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Yeah, my dad's side of the family is Catholic, but they live all the way in Kansas, so it's not like we see them very often. So,
got it.
All right.
Hi, Lisa already voted. Can't wait for the group to discuss the book. Cool. I'm using the new tablet, so I'm able to see what I'm writing this time around. Awesome. Lisa Marshall is here. So we still have a Lisa.
Yes, we still have a Lisa. And we've got sorry guys, Cleo is like ramming into my stuff. So we've got 8 people on YouTube. We've got Nat, Fiction Technician, Miss Richards Reads, Krista, Ellen, Lisa. Hey, Trish. Hi, guys. How are you?
I don't think Lucky wants to hang out for Cozy Escape.
Yeah, and then like Cleo's like attacking me, and she's like, "No, you must be paying attention to me at this current moment." And she's like pushing on my baby bump, and I'm like, "That's uncomfortable. Stop it."
Let's see. Denise, good evening. I just voted and excited to join the discussion. Courtney, this is Courtney. Ryan, okay then. Hello, Courtney, and thanks for belated birthday wishes. Oh yeah, happy belated birthday. Ryan, I started book 2 earlier. Leave no stone unturned. This was a good book. Awesome. Jane.
Yeah,
Hi, Jane.
I started book 2 as well. I'm like halfway through.
Ashley, hello all. Hi, Lysandra. Hi, Helen. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Denise. Oh, Denise from Palm Beach, Florida. So it's probably warm where you're at too, right? I have the
freezing
window
where I'm at.
Is it freezing? Are you?
Oh my gosh! Like today, I almost cried because of how cold I was. Like the high for today was 42, but for the most of the day, it was like 31 degrees, and it was freezing. Though Oklahoma's really weird because for the next like 5 days, it's going to be in the 60s and 70s, and then it goes straight back to like 40s and rainy and chance of snow and all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's a bummer because every time the weather does that to me, I always get sick because you're like lulled into a false sense of like, hey, it's warm, taking the jacket off, everything's fine. Jane, yeah. I didn't see as many people with ashes. Huh. Ryan, hi, Lucky. Stacy, I'm reading book 2 right now too. Denise in the mid 70s. Yep. Ryan, same here. Courtney.
Yeah, we've got on YouTube, people saying, hi, Lucky. It's raining in Florida where Lisa is. And then it's -10 where Trish is in Canada.
Aw. Yeah, I think Lucky, is he still here? Lucky, he'll come if I give him a treat. Lucky, you want a treat?
Yeah, Cleo comes whether I want her to come here or not.
Do your cats like treats?
Yes, they do, and they actually know the word, just like the dogs do. And so whenever I say treat to the dogs, the cats go running for the treat as well.
Do you want to show them your high five?
The word treat.
High five. No, you're not in the camera. High five. Did you do a high five? No? Too much?
Yes,
much
Amy,
pressure?
we are seeing your comment. Hi, Amy. We're just waiting for a little bit more people. Miss Richards says that Arkansas and Oklahoma are having the same weather. It's very, very, very weird. Cleo, you can't make
good job. You're so
Look at him.
He's so cute.
He is precious.
Yeah, I was trying to show somebody a picture today. I did a live stream at noon, and I'm like, oh, I just snapped a picture of this thing, and I was scrolling through my feed, and all it was were pictures of Lucky. I was like,
oh yeah.
I don't know where that thing is. I just have pictures of my cat. Here you go.
All right, so we've had more people voting. So we've got a majority that said 4 stars, and then a few that said 5 stars. So that's over here on Crowdcast. How did you guys over on YouTube? What did you think about Heart of Darkness? What were your star ratings? I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4 or 5 stars. I personally really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Because I was just so excited someone spent more time on character development. Because not that I don't love a good mystery, but sometimes I feel like we're so into the clues and the mystery, I don't really get a sense of like, do I even care about this person, or like,
do I even would I have coffee with that person?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, I've got
good job, Lucky. Denise, I can't use the word Lucky.
Tons and tons of 4 stars on the YouTube side as well.
Cool. Ashley, my cat shakes the treats. That's cute. Awesome. All right. So overall, everyone liked this.
Yeah, everyone seemed to really, really enjoy it. I dug it a lot. I loved the characters. I loved the character development. I loved that the main character is curvy and she likes food, and I don't know, I kind of like pictured myself in her, like when they talked about her brown hair and like different things like that, and curviness. Like, I'm not the smallest person in the world. So I really, it's fun whenever you can sort of see what, like, yourself in the character a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Jane, I was more on the relationships than the murder. Awesome. Margaret, okay, my Crowdcast app crashed. Oh, juggling putting kids to bed. I was into the relationship too.
I was really into the relationship as well. Not gonna lie, that's why I bought the second book. Because I needed to know what happened between them.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't even know why. They didn't really explain why he ghosted her a lot. Like, the divorce or his second guessing, but they
do in the second book. Have you started reading the second book?
I'm like 25% of the way into the second book.
Yeah, he talks about it a little more on why he wasn't talking to her as much as he was. I'm not going to like spoil it or anything, but yeah, he starts talking about it a little bit more, and it kind of makes sense, but it also is like, I'm like, dude, that was just an excuse.
Yeah. Stephanie kept mentioning that he wasn't ready to get involved, right? Yeah, I think that's part of like the romance thing. Like, they were both like, he's really hot, but I am so over men, right? Or I am so over women or whatever. But yeah, so let's talk about the relationship just a little more. So I like that she was a strong female character, right? Like, when he tried to be chivalrous and save her, she was like, I can save myself, right? And then when he was like telling her what to do, she was like, back off. But I I still feel like, I don't know that he did something bad. I feel like his heart was in the right place. I think like she could have just been a little gentler, or maybe just not chastised him in front of people and maybe said something after. I don't know.
I can see that. I can also see that she has that knee-jerk reaction after having been cheated on with her by her other guy, who also told her what to eat and how to act and how to dress. And like, so she was very much in the thought process of, I'm not going to let that happen again. Her guard was up too much. I believe she should have been a little bit more gentler with him, but I liked the fact that the author actually showed us the depth of the characters, why he was so mistrusting of women, and then why she was so mistrusting of men. It made it a little bit more bearable to read, if you ask me.
Yeah. I think the problem too is I just attended Brendan Bouchard's personal development event, like a 3-day, like how to be a better person event. So the whole time I was like, she could have done this to say it in a nicer way. She could have done that. So if I hadn't attended that, maybe I wouldn't have been like thinking of all those things. Ryan, I like when the characters are more detailed in the murder plot. Denise, plot and character development were good, but a few technical difficulties like the character name mix up. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Right. I guess I didn't notice that either. Yeah. Natalie said she enjoyed the book, but she struggled with the niece, but decided that she can understand her better through the lens of youth. That's something that Natalie's one of my good friends here in town, and her and I talked about this book a little bit. Like, she read it faster than I did, and she was like, I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know how I'm feeling. And after I finished it, I was like, well, I really enjoyed it. And she talked to me about how she felt about Ivy. And I was like, you also have to realize that even though Ivy is a senior in college, she's 19. Like, she's still a baby who her frontal cortex still hasn't 100% grown. Like, she's still making these impulsive reactions and things like that. So I can understand sort of how she was. Like, I didn't really think it was cool that she was sort of holding hands with the boyfriend at the funeral. Like, I was like, you know, or the fiance at the funeral. I was like, you could have had a little bit more like decorum than that.
Right. Yeah. Why would you even want to get together with Laz, right? After he like was dating the most vapid person in the world. It just doesn't make sense. Stephanie, it felt a little less like a normal cozy because of the mean street of Normalton. There was drama. Yeah, it's a little bit of a roughness. It wasn't as much of it didn't give you that small town feeling, I guess, as much. Margaret, the drama comes
but I kind of like
that there was a little more edginess. Steph, I liked it too. Denise, Vance was referred to as Lance and Bliss was referred to as Regina. Oh, wow. Denise, do you do editing? Because that would be like, I didn't even catch that. I caught I feel like in every book there's always a couple typos, but yeah, I feel like I
did read that mostly while I was like right before bed.
Yeah. Plus, I read these things for enjoyment. I'm not really like checking too much.
Yeah,
so
unless it's like blaringly, like, to me, like something that's over and over and over again, I don't really see it. If I'm enjoying the overallness of the story and I'm really like into it, I don't probably see as many errors as I might have if it was something I wasn't enjoying.
Yeah. Helen, I thought Ivy was realistic look at a 19-year-old. Yeah, totally agree. Margaret, I always read at night when I'm kind of sleepy. Yeah, it's a good idea. Like, it kind of puts you to sleep. Even sometimes during the day when I don't mean to and I'm totally into a book, sometimes reading just makes me like want to take a nap, which is odd because I do love reading. So
Fiction Technician says she liked Ivy but couldn't understand her attraction to Laz, and that his planning to marry someone he doesn't even like, the guy has issues. I don't know. I kind of feel like I understand a little bit with where Laz was coming from. Like, during his whole entire relationship with Regina, he was in a drug-induced sort of like comatosis in a way. I've known people in my life who, you know, are on who have been on pills or who have been an alcoholic, and how it's changed their mind to be a different personality than what they are sober. That does not give them an excuse by any way, shape, or form, but I can understand how what he was willing to accept while he was on drugs and all of that versus what he was willing to accept sober can sort of change him as a person. And that's probably me looking way too deeply in a cozy mystery character that's sort of a side character, but that's sort of how I understood where he was coming from.
Yeah, but the thing too is, I mean, I 100%, even well past my teenage years in college, dated total jerks just because I was like, he's really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then I was like picking, you know how you like look for the good? You're like, oh, he opened the door for me. He must be a great guy. Like, even though he's obviously a total jerk. I mean, plus when you're 19, you have hormones. Like, I could totally see her just picking a guy because he's hot and for no other reason. Plus at that dinner they had when they invited him over, Danny was like, he's totally a different person. It looks like he redeemed himself, and they were all having fun and chatting. And we really didn't see him again anyway until the very end.
Yeah. And I will say he might have a sneak peek again in book 2, which that's what kind of sucks is like whenever, like I love this book club so much, but if it's like a book that I really, really enjoy, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get the second book. And then I can't like stop myself from going and reading the second book. And then I have like all of the information from the second book. And then when people are like, but this happened to the first book, I'm like, but you don't understand. And then things start like blending and I then forget where I'm at. And then, that's what happens to me.
Margaret, I was a little confused by my reaction to the book. I wasn't in love with it, but I couldn't stop reading it. Confused by it. It happens.
Yes.
Like, I've done that too, where there's books where I'm like, this was horrible, but I cannot stop reading it. Like, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to read the sequel.
Yes, no, I totally
agree. Yeah. Ryan, Davy and Spencer were more realistic as a couple. Yep. Margaret, well, they were older too. I think too in cozies, we're used to older people. We really don't see like teenage, college love, right? So I think that's okay that it was messy, right? Like if it was perfect and it was great, that would be weird.
Well, and that would be boring to read. Like, why would I want to read something that's perfect and put together? And then, I mean, because then I don't know about anybody else, but whenever I start reading something and the character's perfect and everything's perfect, it makes me sort of start feeling bad about myself because I'm like, that's not life. And I'm not perfect and I don't do the most perfect things and things like that.
Plus, I feel like it was really realistic when she was talking to Bliss, and Bliss had this ridiculous notion where she's like, I must keep dating Vance, even though I don't like him and he's a total jerk, because I have to get married. And that seems so important when you're like 20, right? You're like, if I don't find someone now, I will be alone for the rest of my life. So I did like that. Yeah. Must hold on to this one boyfriend. Ivy. I think Ivy was Margaret. I think Ivy was portrayed as a little desperate for attention, which is why she was trying to hang out with Regina. Yeah, she seemed lonely. So of course she'll hook up with Laz. Helen, I agree. I hate reading perfect characters. Yeah.
I also loved that Ivy's 2 friends, her 2 roommates with Danny. I liked how she told one of them, I don't know which one, told Danny about how her going and trying to hang out with Regina was a social experiment. She was trying to figure out what made all of that tick, which also shows her sort of, I don't know, her maturity in a way when it comes to like looking at things in a scientific way. She wasn't looking at it like Regina's going to be friends with me. She was looking at it as like, what can I study from this group to make myself better to be able to go out and date and things like that. It was sort of like scientific and clinical mixed with awkward teenage angstiness.
Right.
I liked it.
Yeah, and it was so obvious that Ivy and her friends weren't in the cool clique, right? They were working at the party, and that's the only way they could get invited. And she was like, Danny's like, are you sure you want to go? Because she's like the adult. And Ivy was like, yeah, for sure. Like she was like, this is like the social, because when you're that young and it's college, like being at social events is so important. And I think that was very realistic.
So Natalie on YouTube says the ex showing up in the book, Danny's ex, she gets it as a setup, but it seemed distracting to her. I can see how like it sort of like was a little shocking, like whenever he just like showed up and he was like, I need this book. But I think that it could have been sort of like railed in a little bit more, like maybe she was missing his calls and she was like, why is he calling? Or maybe he's trying to text and she's like ignoring it. And then he shows up out of, seemingly out of the blue, but she sort of knew something was happening. But I do think that the interaction with her ex gave her closure that she needed from the douchebag having and already having a fiance and everything. And then it also gave her and Spencer another like flat foot, solid ground to sort of talk about like sort of like what happened and why she's might be a little bit more mistrusting of men because Ivy, told him about her ex and him being cheated or him a cheater and everything like that.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind it at all. I did, just like you thought. I think it gave her closure, and it also gave us readers more depth into like him and like how she, like, even when he was like a jerk and about to be beat up by the big guy because of debts, she was still like, should we do something? And Spencer's like, no, he'll be fine, right? So it just helped to show like she has passion and she obviously has a soft spot for this guy. The only thing that I think was not necessary was her friend Kelsey. So she's like, oh, my friend Kelsey, and she has a baby, so we don't talk that much. And she's only in one scene, and it was just an information dump. So I feel like, if anything, Kelsey was irrelevant to the whole story because she never came back. I felt bad because,
like, I wanted Kelsey to have more of an impact, like, and even into like the second book, I was like, I would like to see Kelsey more. Like, when's Kelsey coming back? Like, but it just seems like Kelsey's brought up as oh, she's my best friend with a kid, but I don't see her anymore. And like me, I think me being pregnant, that ticked me off because I'm like, so what if I have a kid? I was like, my best friend had a kid when we were 21 and I was there for the almost every day for the first 3 months of that boy's life. And like, I still see her weekly. I'm like, no, if she's actually your best friend, you'd make time. I was kind of salty about that.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I didn't need her in the story. So, and then the Franny Ryan person, I did want to learn more about her, but I feel like she didn't really get a lot of page time. She was just like there, but you didn't learn anything about her or know anything about her personality, right? Or no?
Yeah. No, I agree.
So it would be nice to see her more in the future ones. Or maybe I just feel nostalgic because I miss the Aurora Teagarden movies where her friend Sally is the reporter. So that's what I'm thinking of.
So much.
Everybody loves Sally.
Yeah.
Even, I forget, remember that one movie where instead they replaced the Sally with the mayor? And you're like,
yes.
Where's Sally? Do you remember that?
You're like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Denise, Franny was a tie into the author's other series. Oh, I didn't know that. So
that's what I thought. Because like
Franny have her own series?
So I didn't go and like look. I didn't investigate. But Denise, I totally 100% as it was like, yeah, at my old town. Oh yeah, I know the sheriff. I'm like, you're dropping way too many hints for this just to be a side character. So like in my head, I'm like, this has to be from another series. Sort of like how London Lovett has both of her series, her Port Danby series and Firefly series have connected in one of the books. Like if you didn't know that, then it would seem a little off. So I'm kind of like, I want to know what that other series is because I do really like her writing.
Yeah, Denise, tell us more. Stephanie, Kelsey did come out of nowhere. We could have done without that, but I did like her as a character. Margaret, I was going to ask if she was part of that. She has another series from the town that was mentioned. Denise, crossover character from the Scrumble River series. So Denise, is she a star in the series or just like a side character like this?
Yeah.
Waiting, Denise. We're waiting. Type fast. Yes, Ryan, college ages. Yeah. Danny is 29 years old. Spencer is mid-30s. I did like the Danny pictured going out with Spencer at first as the grizzled 40, 50-ish ex-cop. Yeah, she had no idea like how old he was or what he looked like.
Yeah, and I think that whenever we said college ages, we were meaning her her roommates, the ones that are staying with her. It's kind of fun to see the dynamic between the early 20s girls that are her, the people that help her and live with her versus her 29 self, and how different their priorities are and their expectations are of life and things like that. I like having the mirror sort of being able to see what it's going to be like on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, someone on YouTube asked, what book are you all talking about? We're talking about The Tart of Darkness by Denise Swanson, which was the Cozy Escape Book Club for.
Yes. Yeah.
Ryan. Okay, got it. Yeah. So we should ask that question. Did anybody know? Oh, Denise actually didn't read other series. Okay. Does anybody know, or did anyone figure out who the murderer was before she just came to the house and confessed?
So I had an inkling of it because I knew that the girl's name was Abigail from her saying like Abigail's very picky in what she eats and things like that. And then the Gail part, whenever they said that she had signed off as Gail or whatever, that was the only thing that I got that even gave me an inkling of who it might be. But I'm like, there's not enough. Yeah. Like I couldn't just go, all right, I know the who done it is, and I'm done. Like I got this. No, I couldn't like actually pinpoint it.
Yeah, I feel like if they had told us she was diabetic, like somehow, like even dropped that in as a clue, then I might have, I don't know if I would have figured it out, but then I felt like it would have been more fair versus at the end, Abigail just happens to come to the house and confess like in 2 seconds. So
yeah, no, I agree. I feel like they could have said something like she could have come up to the window one of the multiple times that she was on scene and saying, my sugar's dropping, put something sweet in there. Cause like my dad's a type 1 diabetic and he's insulin dependent. So like to me, like I know about the insulin. I know about like what it takes to, get your sugar down and things like that. And so I was like waiting for things that I would already know just personally. And I wish she would have been like, just a little shaky right now. Could you put in a granola bar or something sweet or something along those lines? I feel like we would have really gotten it a little bit more.
Yeah, or if her thing could have beeped or something and she could have been like, what is that, a pager? And she's like, no, it's, like something small, like some hint for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fiction Technician said it was a bit out of nowhere, but she appreciated at least some seeds had been sown. Because there were a couple of things that like I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense kind of thing. But Margaret's right. She did a good job of giving lots of people motives. There were a lot of people that wanted to kill Eugene.
Yeah, for sure. Margaret, that was a pretty darn convenient killer reveal. Yeah. She just happened to walk in.
Yeah.
I think sometimes at the end of the novel, authors are like, I'm so done.
Yeah. They're like, all right, well, what can we do? But I still really enjoyed it. Like it didn't put me off from getting the next book, obviously.
Yeah, I think because she did such an amazing job with character development and just like Margaret said, at like throwing such good motives at other people, like it was like a minor thing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't that salty. Like there's been times where I've been super salty about how they've dropped who the murderer is because there's like no clues whatsoever. And then it wasn't really like the town wasn't fleshed out or the people weren't fleshed out. And so then I was just unsatisfied all around. Here I got satisfaction in multiple parts within the book that it didn't really tick me off or bother me as much as it might have had I not appreciated what she had written.
Right. Yep, for sure. I was kind of sad too. I hopefully in like future books, she does more with Tippy and Star because I know that they're her friends, but they're kind of like sidekick friends. The most personality they ever had was when the police detective Mikaloff or whatever came over and then they like stood up to him and Tippy was like, yeah, my mom's a judge. And then Star was like, oh yeah, my dad is a thoracic surgeon who saved the mayor. Like if they have such impressive parents, I feel like maybe they should stop by or something, you know what I mean? Like show any other aspect.
I agree. I think that she was also, the author was kind of for readers like you who don't like a whole bunch of people all at once and all of their information all at once. I think what she's going to do is piecemeal out. Like maybe one book will have this, like Tippy as a main person. And then the next book might have a little bit more on the other one. And like, I think that maybe that'll make a little bit more sense. Like she's introduced them in the first book, but hasn't fleshed them out enough until later in the series.
Margaret, it could have just been about anyone in Regina's circle and I would have bought it. Oh yeah, that storyline with Mikaloff and his nephew was kind of left hanging. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I've done
they do
HR
talk about it in the book.
Oh yeah. So I've done HR before, well, for 20 years. And like, it's true. Like you like have so many run-ins with so many different employees. It's hard to tell who holds a grudge and who doesn't. That's why I never share my real address anywhere. Like someone actually came to my house once and it was really scary. But yeah, like I think that is just the nature of HR. But just because I don't know how anyone would know. Like the HR things usually are so secret. Like nobody knows about them ever.
Yeah. I will say you do get more closure at the beginning of the second book when it comes to Mikaloff and his nephew, but I feel like I wish they would have been more upfront about it towards the end of the book. So at least you got a little bit of closure if you didn't like it. And like, if you didn't want to go on to the second book, at least the first book closed off everything that needed to be closed off with that mystery.
Yeah. Stephanie, agree. Margaret, yikes, remind me not to get a job in HR. I mean, I love HR. I would totally go back. I never quit. Like some people are like, I quit because I hated it. I loved my job. I just wanted to do other things and work from home. HR, you can never really work from home. Like some people do, but like for the most part, you need to be on site all the time, constantly.
Yeah. With my job, I can be pretty much anywhere as long as I have internet access, but I get more done when I'm able to see the teachers in person than via the internet.
Yeah. Lisa, wow, that's scary. Yeah. I mean, yes.
Yeah. I don't know how I would feel if someone just showed up to my house that had a grudge or were salty about something.
Yeah.
So who all is going to be getting the next book in the series? Oh, I said who all is going to be getting the next book in the series or has already started the second book?
Yeah. I almost don't want to read it too quickly because the third book isn't coming out till the fall, like September, she said. I know.
I hate it whenever I start a series. Right at the beginning. And then like, you don't know that it's the beginning of the series, that there's only like 2 or 3 books out. So you're super excited and you go binge read it. And then it's like, nothing's left and you have to wait.
Yeah. You're like, why? It's kind of like the Geek Girls. Because I know there's only 3. I am reading it very slowly because I know it's not going to like keep going.
I'm still hurt from there only being 3.
Yeah. Jane, I'm going to buy it when I found out this month's book. Stephanie, I'm sad that I waited so long to read it. I got approved for an e-arc last year and never got to it. I'm going to read it now. Cool. Lysandra, I will. I love her writing style. Margaret, I have a sample of the next book downloaded, but I got caught up in a contemporary romance. It happens. I mean, that's why I like the books for next month. I was like, I didn't even finish reading one of them. I meant to, and I totally forgot. Ryan, that was one of the things that I liked about Danny, the backstory working in HR and the NDA. Yep. Oh, can we just talk about beer? Like, I don't know. Am I the only girl that doesn't drink beer? I don't like beer. It's like kind of not sexy and it's kind of like a dude thing. And every time he was like, I will bring the beer. And I was like, ugh. Like, who wants a guy to be like, I will bring a 6-pack? Like, bring a bottle of wine.
I drink beer. My favorite beer is Smithwick's. I fell in love with it whenever I was in Ireland. I had it from the tap in Ireland, and that was the best beer I have ever had. It is not as good in the United States because it's just not as good as in the United States. But I do like beer. I do.
I guess I'm thinking of a nice romantic date. She has all this fancy food and everyone's just like belching every 5 seconds because you're guzzling all this beer. That doesn't seem very romantic. That's why when he didn't call back, I was like, maybe that's why he didn't call back. The beer.
Drinking the beer. It was her beer.
Yeah. And she was like, he even said, he was like, obviously the author likes beer. He was like, where's your secret stash of beer? And I was like, I never have a secret stash of beer. I have like secret stashes of chocolate.
Yes.
Like ice cream and things like that.
We don't drink very often at all. And so like when we have friends come over, they're like, so what do you got in the fridge? I'm like, lemonade. Like, like, what do you want? And then so like most of like the liquor that we have in the house are from friends bringing it for their own drinks so that when they come over, they can indulge in whatever they want to indulge in. But we're not, I'm not supplying it. Like, I'm going to be cool. Like, I'll have a glass of wine every once in a while. Not right now, currently, but I will every once in a while, but it's not very often at all.
Steph, I don't like it either. Ashley, I don't like beer either. Jane, I don't like beer either. Stephanie, I do like Blue Moon from the tab. Helen, I love beer. I would love a guy to bring a 6-pack. I guess Spencer is just not my guy. Margaret, I don't really either, but my husband and I used to drink it when we first started going on sailing dates. Otherwise, I always had a bottle of cheap red. Denise, chocolate, yes. Beer, no. Lysandra, I prefer wine, but I'll definitely drink a beer. Jane, Courtney, have you picked a name yet?
Oh. Yes, we have. His name's going to be Alexander Aaron. So
double A's.
Yes.
So he will be a straight A student.
Yes. And I've been calling him Alex. Like he'll be like, I want to eat this. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to get it for you. And then he's like, oh no, I didn't ask for this. And I'm like, yeah, you did. You did. He goes, well, I'm sending it back up. And I'm like, well, I don't appreciate that. That's rude. And then we have this argument back and forth and, it's not fun.
It's a very versatile name. He could change his name all the time. He could be Al, Alex, Xander, Lex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like there's so many
Xander. There's like all different kinds of nicknames that'll go with that.
Ryan, I started a little of No Scode Unturned. Cool.
Very nice.
Blue Moon is a good beer. I guess even when I'm on dates, and maybe it's because I've been single like forever, but I always just know not to order like a bubbly beverage because then there will be like burping, and it's so awkward on a first date.
Oh yeah,
I think that was the only thing I was like, let's talk.
So we do have. Yeah, I think we've talked about pretty much all of it. Do we want to introduce what we're going to be reading next month? Yes. So it was a pretty close call. Like I screenshotted and sent Lisa what all the voting was on Instagram, or not on Instagram, but on Twitter, my community tab, and on Facebook. And it was a close call between Kitty Confidential and Spells and Spies. But Kitty Confidential won.
I'm so excited. You guys don't even know. Like, I have read every single book in the series, like the minute it comes out. So, and there's a ton of, she writes like so fast. I don't know if she like just writes like instead of sleeping, but there's a ton of books in this series. So, and they're all like laugh out loud funny.
Yes. And it's on Kindle Unlimited as well.
Yeah. They're all on KU. So I think her thing is they're all on KU, and then the new books, when they come out, I think you have to purchase them, and then they go on KU after a few days. Ryan, I figured, so I got it. Lysandra, I finished it yesterday. Wow. Margaret, yay, thought I might read all of them. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, super, super excited.
So she did agree she's like so awesome. So the author already agreed that she's going to give away a signed copy of book 2 in Kitty Confidential. So we will give that out next time. And the author for today, Denise, was amazing too. And she offered to give a signed copy of book 2 as well. So we should pick a winner.
We should.
So you're the host, so I'm not able to download the chat log.
I am. Let me see.
So you guys, we just need 2 numbers from you. So who's here? Lysandra, give me a number between 1 and 30. And then who else? Denise, give me a number between 30 and 60. How's that? Is that too many? Is that too few? It might be too many.
I'm exporting the chat log right now.
Let's do a subtraction this time. So let's do 51 minus 23. So it's the 28th comment.
28th comment. Okay. Let me see. Mm-hmm. It comes in a CSV, and then, of course.
Yeah, you have to open it in Excel.
Yeah, and I don't have Excel, so I'm downloading it as a Google Sheets so that I can look at it. But I've got it. So what line?
28.
28. Denise.
Yay, Denise. So Denise, go ahead and email me. What's my email? Lisa@LisaLatte. Send me your mailing address and your phone number, because sometimes it helps to have a phone number for the tracking. So yay. Ashley, excited for next month. I am too. I'm so excited. You don't even know. Stephanie, congrats. And this will be hard because I've read every single book to try to like suppress myself from giving out too much information.
So you're going to be like, oh, did that happen in book 1 or did that happen in book 4?
Yeah. So maybe we should just all read the entire series for the next book.
Here we go. I like it. I
mean, how many are there? Let's see. I don't even know the number. Maybe it's not that much. Maybe it's just 9 books. It's not like, I mean, March is a long month.
It is a long month. It's got like, I think it's 31 days. Is it 31 days?
Okay, so it says there's 16 books in the series, which is crazy because she just started it like last fall. And there are 5, 6, 7. There are only 10 of them that have been published so far. Just
nice.
10. So you'd only have to read 10.
Binge read them.
Yeah, totally.
Lysandra says that the audiobook is on Scribd. So if you have Scribd, cool. You can get the audiobook on there.
Thanks, Lysandra. Denise, oops, I was typing. Would you kindly share the email address again? Sure. Lisa@LisaLatte.com. That's 1 for every 3 days. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it, Margaret. Or you could just take every weekend and be like, I'm just going to read all day and all night, and then the books will be done.
See, I've got spring break in March, so I'm hoping I can binge read some stuff. But awesome. I think that we're good. Should we wrap up for the evening?
Yeah, Margaret, my kids might have a problem with that. Maybe you could just read out loud to them.
Yeah, it'll grow their brain.
Yeah, I read out loud to the cat. He loves it.
There you go. 100%.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to close it off for the night. Thank you all so much for coming in and hanging out with us and talking about this amazing book. I'm so glad that so many people loved it as much as we did. That always makes it a little bit easier to talk about when, we all sort of got the same vibe from it. And it also makes me feel like, we chose a really good book to read.
Yeah. We are such an awesome group.
Yeah, we are. We're fantastic.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone. I hope you have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.